Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading. We're going to do a rest of the year reading. This is going to be similar to the readings I did a couple weeks ago where we're asking deeper questions. So your first row is going to represent what you need to hear right now. And you have this envy and protection card and this pregnancy and wealth card. I think you should protect your ideas. Definitely something I feel for Virgo just in general. I'm pretty sure I've said this to you in past readings. Again, I think for Virgo, it would be a good time for any changes that you're going to make, just make them. And don't share it, right? It's I think the time right now for Virgo is to let your results speak for themselves, right? And doing that will be great. It will lead to a lot of benefits, I think, for Virgo. And plus, it'll just allow you to get work done without, people's random, insights into whatever you're doing. Especially I think that, it's if someone tells you something's a bad idea, then you're probably not going to do it, right? And that's probably why you should keep things to yourself right now. And, keep your ideas to yourself. That's it. So, whatever. There you go. And, but I think that would be a good thing. I do think, by the way, if you are trying to get pregnant, there definitely could be pregnancy. But I think you're kind of pregnant with ideas. I think you have different plans and goals and things like that. So, there you go. And, I would be trusting your ideas. The thing, a lot of people have had the Tower already. I've done about half these readings so far, and a bunch of people have had the Tower. The weird thing that popped into my head, Virgo, is I'm wondering if there's going to be a Tower moment today, which doesn't help you very much. Today is August 15th. So I don't know if it's today or tomorrow or something, but there could be some sort of global Tower moment or something that happens here with the Tower. I don't know. I don't really like it, if I'm being, honest about it here. I think we're going to see a lot of global Tower moments, between now and, 2033. I think the peak is really 2028, but, it is what it is. We'll look into it in a minute. Although it's coming up in the area, it's coming up in a good area of your reading. So, am I worried about it for you personally? Probably not. But also, don't be surprised if on the 15th or 16th, whatever today is, today's definitely the 15th, so it might be the 16th, that there's a global Tower moment that happens. I don't know, just popping into my head. You have the Three of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the Death card. This is all coming up in the area of what you need to hear right now. I think that, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to get these, expansion cards, like the Three of Wands, especially in this row. We are at a time where we kind of have to push it, but not necessarily hard work. I said in the beginning of the year that this year was going to be all about efficiency. And, the readings have kind of played that out. But I do think that we can, we can expand and do things we've never done before, and that can provide a lot of insights in work, business, love, money, spiritual stuff, whatever, right? It's if we go and explore new ideas, then it's going to give us a lot of variety, and it's going to cause us to expand. That's it. That can be a very simple process. Doesn't have to be hard work, right? But I do think that, doing those things in your life or in your business or your career or, whatever you're trying to improve, expansion through gaining, a variety of experiences would be very helpful for you right now, Virgo. And that's what is popping into my head with this card. You have the King of Pentacles showing up here. We are going to talk about love at the end of the reading, but I do feel that there could be an earth sign or a water sign. I would say it's probably a mixture of both. They're either earth with water, water with earth. You have your creepy little Scorpio right here. So, they're definitely, this person has been lurking in your readings, just lingering around, I said in one of your readings recently. It's you have this lingerer, Scorpio, which it might, that might be a little bit of typical Scorpio behavior, but I do think you would be attracted to this person, so I don't know. If you want love, it's here. The King of Pentacles also, I think, is great for you to stabilize your finances. I think that you, Virgo, are maybe coming up with more predictable income, especially in business. It's in business, there are ups and downs. And it's really hard to just have a predictable income in business, but there are things you can do, like diversifying, investing, saving money, things like that, that can kind of create a nice little baseline. And I don't know, that's popping into my head with this card, is that that's maybe what you're focusing on. I would actually say for the next several years is you could be very focused on kind of just creating just like a nice little savings, a little nest egg or something like that. And this can be something that starts very, very small. It's like maybe you just save $10 a week. That might sound ridiculous, might not sound like much, but I am convinced. One thing I am convinced of and have been convinced of now at the age of 37, it took me 37 years to figure this out, but I'm convinced if we just start doing something and stick with it, eventually the universe is like, well, they're serious, so I guess I'll move out of the way. So I'm a big fan of starting small, even if it's $10 a week that you save. If you do that for over a period of time, for months or even years, eventually the universe is going to be like, well, they're serious about saving money, so I'm going to bring more opportunities for them to save more money, right? The list goes on and on there. So definitely something I would pay attention to with the King of Pentacles. I feel like you're creating this like baseline. But it's good. It's like going to make you feel secure when you feel, and again, I am all about feelings as well. I think sometimes like if that's what we need to feel better, like I am all about people doing whatever it takes to feel better. Because again, I think our feelings also shape our reality as well. So there you go. You have the Death card again. Could be a Scorpio, lingerer type person. All your readings have been talking about significant change, Virgo, and you are probably the one sign that is changing the most. So I don't know, this has been going on for you for years, literally. So you could be going through some big changes, but I think these changes are going to be very helpful. So love it. Looks good to me. Let's see. We're going to clarify this, and let's see what comes up. With the Three of Wands here, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yep, you're like the third sign that has had the Four of Pentacles in exactly the same spot. So, clearly it's a time for us to release comfort zones. It's time for us to like let go of old things. Now, this makes sense because we have these eclipses in September, and one Pisces on the 7th, Virgo on the 21st. So I do think we're all being asked to probably eclipse something out that is slowing us down, that no longer serves us, whatever. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Two of Wands here. Yeah, the Two of Wands can be about taking the lead and kind of like making things happen. Yeah, it's about also starting something new, which you get a lot with me. If something in your life, he's standing at the top of this castle. And the castle can be like an establishment. I was kind of going in this direction here with business, right? Like for those of you that have business or make money, or even if you have a career, like, if you're thinking about doing something on the side, I would. I think this is saying, yes, this is like a green light from the universe is what it's saying to me. I think it would probably lead to a better financial baseline, like I was saying earlier. It's like the castle stands on its own. There's no more work he has to put into this castle. That's the whole point of the card, is that this wand stands on its own. So it's like something is complete. He has to reach forward and start building something new. He has to like build the next great thing in his life. And, that's kind of what this is asking you to do, I think. Yeah, with the Death card, you have the Hermit, you showing up here. So, whenever we show up as ourselves, it puts us in a position of power and strength and allows us to get what we want in a reading. So I think you're just showing up as yourself here. Next, we're going to look at what you are outgrowing at this time. You have this Protection card and this Alchemy and Creation card. So I think you are outgrowing the need for things to be protected, like needing things to be perfect. And that is a good thing. South Node in your sign right now, Virgo, which we talk about a lot. But the South Node in your sign kind of makes you a little even more of a perfectionist, right? But it's almost like universal cognitive behavioral therapy, exposure therapy. That's what it is for you. It's like the universe might be trying to make you make things perfect, but then you can't. So then you have to deal with things that aren't perfect, and then eventually you get over it, right? It's like that is what's going on for you right now, is like exposure therapy from the universe is kind of what I feel, as weird as that sounds. But I don't know. I think it's a good thing. I think it'll make you more productive, all that other stuff. You have the King of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the Magician. Definitely could be a Scorpio, or, I guess it could be a water sign, but, obviously you have Scorpio literally like 10 times in this reading. You have the Death card, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which Scorpio shows up on, and you have the Tower, which is also Scorpio. So, I feel that, for a lot of you, if it's not a Scorpio, it's a person who has a lot of Scorpio on their chart, right? If you're looking for love. But again, we're looking at what you are outgrowing at this time. And the King of Cups could say that what you are outgrowing is your emotions, but not like in a bad way. And, of course, I don't think we should ever get rid of our emotions or anything like that. We need them. But I think that, there could be some certain emotions that you have processed that you just are releasing, certain things that you've been emotional about or nostalgic about. And it's kind of like you're releasing these things and moving forward. Like I said, I don't really feel it's a bad thing at all. So there you go. You have the Queen of Wands, probably like the need of approval from others, which I think came up for someone else as well, but it makes sense. The Queen of Wands, she has this black cat right here, and the whole point of the black cat is during the times of tarot, black cats were considered very unlucky. The whole point of the black cat on this card is that she doesn't care what anyone thinks, and she just likes the black cat, and she wants to have the black cat. So I think a lot of you have also had exposure therapy in regards to other people's thoughts about you and things like that, or how people perceive you, and over the years, right, many past years. And it's like now, I think with this eclipse, maybe even that's coming up on the 21st in your sign. It's like, and by the way, we can feel eclipses early, like way early. So, you could be feeling this right now. But it's almost like you are releasing, or what you've outgrown is like the approval of others and what other people think of you and things like that. And there's a certain level of power that comes with like truly not caring in a good way. And I feel like you are developing that here, Virgo. You have the Magician. I mean, all your readings for a long time have been about you reinventing yourself. Like I always bring up the butterflies in your reading. I don't see any butterflies in this one. I don't think so. So it looks like we're safe from the dangerous butterflies in your readings. But what I would say is, for a long time, you got butterflies with me. Now, again, this is not something that's going to happen overnight, these changes, but it seems to me like you have gone through a reinvention process, and now maybe you're finally done. It's like maybe now you finally are the butterfly, which is good. So let's see here. With the King of Cups, you have the Hierophant. Yeah, it's like I think you're more willing to be messy, but again, this is through universal exposure therapy. That's what we're going to call it, right, in your reading. It's like I think you're more willing to think outside the box. Hierophant is, Hierophant can come into your life and be like, here's a list of exactly how you're going to do things, and you're going to check things off one at a time, right? And, that's like the Hierophant. He has a specific way of doing things. He's inside the box thinking. But sometimes I think as far as something that you need to outgrow at this time, it could be that's what it could be, is like needing to do things in a specific order, doing things, not being messy, right? And I think that's what you could be releasing. With the Queen of Wands, yes, you have the Judgment card. Judgment and Tower. By the way, this is the most powerful combination in the tarot. You're actually the second person to get this combination, which is pretty weird. Normally, I see this combination like once in a while. And so there could be some major revelation or major light bulb moment. Again, don't be surprised if there's a Tower moment today, the 15th, which obviously you'll be watching this a day after, so whatever. Or the 16th, this could be happening somewhere around there. I don't know. It popped into my head at the beginning of your reading. With the Magician, you have the Four of Swords. I think you are resting more. It's like you and Pisces, I don't know what it is. You and Pisces are always the same. But what I would say is I feel like you're finally willing to take a break, which is kind of funny. Sometimes we think like, oh, I have to work and I have to get all these things done so I can be successful or whatever. It's like we're always chasing something, It's almost like you're willing to just give yourself a break, every once in a while. And that might sound silly. It might sound like something very small, but I do feel it's very important. Next, we're going to look at what's one move that would change everything for you right now. What one move could you make to change your life? And again, obviously, this isn't magically going to happen. This is going to be an action that you have to take right now. You have this Enchanted Illusion card. It says, see through the veil of illusion and have the courage to see things as they really are. Tower. Tower is a breakdown of the Matrix, which is exactly what I believe we're experiencing right now. It's like, it's like they try to tell us something is true, but we don't believe it. Epstein files, aliens, like the list goes on and on, right? It's like they tell us, oh, there's nothing to see here, even though there has been, and there is, and it's clear that there is. And it's like people are like, yeah, no, I don't believe the Matrix anymore. The Tower is escaping the Matrix, right? You have this Unlocking Solutions card. It says, through compromise, you will create the successful outcome you are hoping for. And I think you're creating your own outcomes, honestly. Eight of Pentacles. We'll talk about this in a second, but Eight of Pentacles is pretty independent. You have the Tower, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Eight of Pentacles. So, again, this doesn't have to be bad because we're asking what's one move that would change everything for you right now. The Tower would be coming down to reality. The whole point of the Tower is that they've built this tower up. They've been ignoring reality, and now they're having to take the blinders off. They're being forced by the universe to see the reality as it actually is. which, is that really a bad thing? I would say no. It can be uncomfortable to admit the truth, but, sometimes that's what we have to do. And, this could be a good thing. I also think that you, this card here, it said, see through the veil of illusion and have the courage to see things as they really are. It's like when we admit things to ourselves, we can find better solutions. Like I said, also, this is very powerful judgment to the Tower, and I would be paying attention to any aha moments, any downloads that you're receiving. I kind of think we are in a time where pretty much all of us could be getting downloads, Uranus and Gemini. Uranus and Gemini, it's like very electric, and it can just bring in random ass ideas, but from another perspective, you know what I mean? That you just have never even thought of before. So I keep telling people, like, I have a little notebook here where I've been writing down all my ideas, anything that pops into my head. You just need to save them and be able to look at them later, because it's like you might have a crazy idea that doesn't make sense right now, but maybe it will in the future, right? You have the Wheel of Fortune. It's like, I think that you need to change I think you are changing your own fortunes and your own destiny, taking more control over those things. I also think Virgos are like looking less outside of themselves, which is kind of like a weird message to get, but I also think this is a very good message. I'm not saying you do this in, every single area of your life, but maybe you look to love to solve your problems, or maybe you look to, certain people to help you with certain things, or whatever the case may be. It's almost like you are, like, I do find, like, I think Virgos, every Virgo I've ever known is very independent. So it's like, I don't know, I think you are very independent, but I think even independent people can sometimes have certain things where it's like they, use people, I'm not saying you use people in a bad way, but it's like maybe you have certain people that you use for certain things. And, it's like, I think you're being more independent in that sense. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I hope it makes sense. Let me know in the comments if I'm off base, Virgo. But I feel that on this card. I also feel like you're more willing to face fears. We have this snake right here. Snakes are guardians of portals, and the Wheel of Fortune is a portal. And so snakes represent fears. And if you look at pretty much everything you want in your life, it's like if you ask yourself the question, why don't I have this thing that I want? Whatever it is, could be anything. There probably is some sort of fear that is preventing you from having the thing that you want, right? And so, I think that some of you could be facing fears here with the Wheel of Fortune. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. I was getting something about independence on this card as well. We don't necessarily consider this to be a card of independence, but he kind of is doing his own thing. He's putting work into 8 pentacles, and that's it. He's, working diligently on one thing. And, I feel that would be very good for you, Virgo, is to, like, stay focused on, the projects, the ideas. And, if you could stay focused at this time is what I'm trying to say. That'll help you. I also feel, again, in this row, we're looking at one move that could change everything. But, I think that if you're thinking about putting work in, like, let's say you have an opportunity to do something that's going to take 3 months. I might have said this to you recently, but it's like I get Eight of Pentacles can be material success on the horizon. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes I feel like the Eight of Pentacles basically says that the work that you're doing right now, it will pay off in the future. So I think this is saying, like, if you're going to do something that could take a certain amount of time, it's going to be worth it. With the Tower, you have the Tower in reverse, which is really funny because I don't know if you saw this at the beginning of the reading, but the Tower came up in reverse. And I don't know how there is a reversal in this deck. I don't even read reversals, but it is kind of interesting that it came up reverse both times, So I will point that out, but, I think this is basically the universe saying I meant what I said. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Queen of Pentacles. I do think there could be a change in your fortunes, literally, which is great. I actually don't think there's anything you need to do other than to this right here, focus on one thing, and, give it the time that it deserves. So, don't be, sometimes I think we can be a little bit nervous about those things. Like if something's going to take 6 months or 3 years or 3 months or whatever, we can be like, do I really want to invest in this, right now? And I think the answer is yes. There you go. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Are you kidding? Yes. Ten of Pentacles is building and leaving a legacy. Ten of Pentacles is something that doesn't necessarily happen overnight, but it will be worth it if you do it here, Virgo. So that's kind of what I feel for you there. It's like, yeah, there might be an opportunity for you to do something here that it might not happen overnight, but it will be worth it. So, I would put the work in there for sure. Next, we're going to do, what blessings are coming to you at this time? You have the Stand Strong card and this Follow Your Heart card. Yes, I think all earth signs need to follow their heart at this time. Like, your heart is probably guiding you in a direction, and you just need to follow it and follow your bliss. And that's what I would do there. It will bring blessings. You have the Knight of Wands, the Justice card, and the Eight of Cups. Now, one thing I will say is that, based off of, I've done about half the reading so far, and again, it seems to me like a lot of people have been getting the blessing of freedom. The Knight of Wands would kind of be like spontaneous freedom, like, just having the opportunity to do random things that you want to do. Having the opportunity to do fun things that you want to do in life as well. And, it's like but the thing is here, Virgo, that you have to do it. You know what's really crazy? I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but it's like recently I started taking a class on Monday on every single Monday, based off of an interest that I have, right? And it's like I didn't really think that I would have time to do other things, but it's like, now that I've taken the class, I've met a bunch of people, and it's like in December I'm going to another class somewhere else, and that's going to be like a 2-day thing that I'm taking, basically. And it's like, I just opened up all these like random opportunities. And it's like, what I've realized is that I do have the time to do it. And so, I don't know, it's like one of those things where it's like, sometimes I think we have to have the realization that we do actually have time to do something, and that is popping into my head for you with this Knight of Wands. Like, you might think you don't have the time or the effort or the ability, but it's like once you start doing it, the opportunities open up. That's what I'm trying to get at here, kind of like they have for me. It's like all these things have come from this, and I don't really like talking about myself, but at the same time, sometimes I think life does reflect whatever's going on in the collective. So I just want to say it, and yeah, I would take advantage of the energy for sure. You have the Justice card. This is like a long time coming, is what I feel like saying to you here, Virgo. You have the Ace of Swords as well, going up, which is like a victory. So if you have had any challenges or difficulties with like people or a person or anything that would involve justice, I literally do feel one of the blessings that could be coming in for you is justice. So you could be getting justice for something that you've dealt with or been through, and obviously that would be a good thing. I think, of course, life isn't going to be perfect. We're in a time of chaos until 2033. Again, I've been saying for months now that I think the peak is really like 2028. Now, is this a bad thing? No, we're just in a time of great change. That's it. And so we don't have to panic or worry or anything like that. But I kind of feel like this is saying that things will be pretty neutral for you, which is good. You have the Eight of Cups, which again is the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it. So you definitely could be eclipsing something out of your life with the Eight of Cups. And, obviously it's coming up as a blessing. So whatever you're walking away from, this will probably be a good thing. Here you go. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Maybe you finally have time to put work into something that you've been thinking about working on for a long time, right? So Eight of Pentacles can be material success on the horizon. And, so whatever you're working on, definitely could be getting the blessing of money here. With the Justice card, you have the Nine of Cups. So, yeah, this is probably something that you've been wishing for. I also feel like this is something that's going to feel really good. Some of you could be getting an apology from a person as well. And, maybe it doesn't seem like a blessing, but I do think it will be a blessing. Because it could change your mindset. It could, make you feel better, and change your feelings, which could be good. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Nine of Swords. A lot of people have been getting this, which is crazy. But definitely, it seems to me like people could be setting themselves free from something, like a problem that has been repeating, which is obviously a good thing. And I definitely feel intuitively this could be like the eclipses, either the Pisces or the Virgo, in your sign, eclipses that are happening next month in September. It's like they could be helping you set yourself free from something that's been repeating over and over and over again. And yeah, obviously that would be a good thing here, Virgo. Next, we're going to look at what is going to happen for you in love, if anything. You have this limitations card. It says trapped, repressed, lack of resources. You have the swimming. It says subconscious emotions and deep feelings. I think you could be attracting a person who has deep feelings for you. It could be another earth sign, which I'm pretty sure you've been getting earth and Scorpio. So, whatever. Take it how it resonates. You have Capricorn and Taurus showing up in this reading, Scorpio a bunch of times. It could be any sign, general reading, but I definitely feel it could be a deep connection. I kind of feel like someone will be revealing something to you. I don't normally say that on the Ace of Swords. Like, I don't necessarily look at this card as revealing something. To me, it's more of a card of a victory, overcoming an obstacle or a challenge. But I kind of feel like someone could be revealing to you that they're interested, or they're revealing their interest. I think you might be a little bit surprised by this as well, Virgo, but like in a good way. So, I don't know. It feels good to me. I think you'll be happy about it, whatever it is. You have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups really says you are probably spoiled by, spoiled by choice. Like you probably have a lot of options in love. So if you're like dating, I would put yourself out there with this card. I kind of feel like you are getting something that is very, this is going to be a person who's very balanced as well. It's kind of interesting how it's popping into my head, Virgo. It's like this might be a person where it's like I feel like they tell you what they don't like as well, which is interesting. Like it might hurt your feelings at first. It's like maybe they tell you that something is unattractive, but it's like I feel like you could say the same thing to them and they wouldn't get upset either. It's like you know what I mean? It's like I think it's how this person is coming at it. It's like the approach. It's like if you're too clingy, maybe they'll say something to you like, hey, I like, there's nothing to worry about. You're being a little bit clingy right now, and I don't like that. It's like, but I think their approach will be kind. Is what I'm trying to say. And I also think it'll make you realize that like, oh, hey, I don't have to be clingy with this person. I can relax. So I don't know. It's popping into my head. You have the Page of Pentacles, definitely a new person. I literally just feel the Page of Pentacles is saying you're going to be communicating with a new person. So I really have nothing to add to that. Right? Let's see. Here you go. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Ace of Cups. Definitely a very solid love offer for sure. This literally would be like an I love you, Virgo. You like a person coming in, being like, I'm interested, whatever the case may be. So I do feel this could be a very solid connection. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Two of Swords here. Two of Swords, she has to focus on that new island behind her here, right? She's thinking this or that, but there's this new island behind her. And so this kind of represents a third place or third option. She needs to trust her intuition as well. So, I would be trusting your intuition in love. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Wands. Yeah, I think this person has good boundaries, is what it is. Healthy boundaries. It's like maybe you meet this person and they're like, maybe you're like, I want to hang out with you 24/7. And they're like, well, maybe we shouldn't. There's maybe we should keep the romance alive here a little bit. I think this person just has like good boundaries, And it's not like they don't like you. It's like I think they just, they have experience, right? And that's kind of what's popping into my head. But pretty interesting stuff here, Virgo. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.